just gonna kick off. Let me close my door. Hello, everybody. I just wanted to jump on live real quick and give a little chit chat update about Jeannie Mai and Jeezy. Turns out they got a baby on board. Yes, baby on board for Jeannie Mai and Jeezy, which is, in my opinion, huge. Actually, let me go ahead and share a photo. I'm about to see how to do this. Let's go to share screen. Let's see. Share screen. Let's share this. Right? I think I did it. New stuff. Hopefully I did it correctly, and this photo is definitely showing on the stream. So I wanted to go ahead and just talk about Jeannie Mai and Jeezy, and big congrats are in order for them on the potential upcoming birth of their beautiful child. Now, if you have any familiarity with Jeannie Mai and her journey regarding pregnancy and getting pregnant and having children, you would know that she was 100% completely adamant about never having children. So I don't know how many of you all followed her story. I used to be a huge fan of The Real. I used to watch every single day. This was back in the Tamar Braxton days, where she used to be helping people get their life and read people for filth. And then I stayed around for a couple seasons after that. And then I sort of tapered off because, I don't know, I felt like the show just changed a little bit. But I was very excited to hear about Jeannie Mai announcing her pregnancy with Jeezy, because it, to me, just really shows what can happen when you find a relationship that suits you, one that is safe, and one that is filled with healing. So what do we see here? We see that Jeannie lived 40 plus years of her life saying, I will never, when I say never, never have children. If you don't know much about her backstory, she grew up with her parents. I think it was a 2-parent household, but I believe her mom and dad were like together, but not really together. There was some kind of trauma, bullying going on there, from what I recall. And don't quote me, but this is just me going off memory. I believe that her mom and her dad had like a very volatile relationship. And then her mom like stepped out on a marriage, and Jeannie grew up believing that somebody was her uncle, when in fact, this individual was actually her mother's boyfriend or something to that effect. So that's the story with Jeannie Mai in her childhood. I know her mom put her out at a very young age. I think when she was like 15, 16 years old, I guess someone assaulted her. This is me recalling memory from the show. So I think someone assaulted her when she was younger, and she didn't feel protected by her family or by her mom for that matter. And so she ended up running away from home or leaving the household because she just didn't feel protected. And so she lived most of her life. She married Freddie. I know you guys probably are familiar with that. They lived, I believe, in California, and then they ended up divorcing because Freddie really wanted children. Jeannie Mai did not. That was a big point of contention in their relationship. And as a result, they decided to part ways. And so I was very interested to hear that Jeannie had decided to go ahead and change her mind and procreate with my homeboy Jeezy. And why, right? To me, I'm always interested in understanding human behavior and understanding why women in particular make the decisions that they do. And what do I see here? I see that what Jeannie actually said, which was, I finally felt safe. And so I want to talk about this whole idea of safety in relationships and finding somebody who makes you happy, whole, and brings a certain level of health and discernment into your life that you can see clearly. So when I reflect back on Jeannie's objections to having children, what I always saw there was fear. Like it always came across to me, just because she was very defensive about it. It wasn't kind of like, oh, I don't want kids, la, 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 it is what it is. She would get very emotional and defensive about not wanting to have children. Like if you look back in previous episodes of The Real, you would see that it was like an issue for her. And so what I always saw there was that it was something that was triggering for her. Like the idea of bringing someone into the world that you are now going to be forced to protect, provide for, and care for, and be responsible for full time. It was a trigger for her because I think she probably didn't want to take that She didn't want to have to feel responsible for someone else when she felt like she was too busy trying to save and protect and guard herself. And so to take on that obligation for an innocent child can be a lot for some women who haven't fully healed. And so when Jeannie was on the Real and she was kind of saying why her and Jeezy decided to have kids, she said that she had come from a home that was relatively broken. He had come from a home that was relatively broken. And together, between them, they found healing with one another. And that resulted in them wanting to bring life into this world. And so I just want to talk about safe spaces in relationships and finding somebody who pours into you and who pulls out of you love, light, happiness, joy, magnificence, and what could perpetuate you to moving from that state of being. Because I felt like this is what my live was about yesterday, that whole idea of being, right? Which Jeannie was in her being of trauma, drama, abandonment. She was in that. And in meeting Jeezy, he was able to take her from that place of being and move her toward that place of building. And so now she's in the building, rebuilding herself, rebuilding. I mean, it's never too late. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about how you could be 40 years old plus, and it's never too late to build a new life for yourself? It's never too late to change the trajectory of where you thought you were going. And I'm super proud of Jeannie Mai. And I'm super excited that she decided to take her power back and pour into her own journey as a woman and just say, you know what? I am powerful. I am safe. I am protected. I have met a man that I know that I can trust with full on commitment and discernment to take care of not only myself, but also my children. And this is what my live was about yesterday, is that when you're finding a partner, you are trying to address two very critical questions. What do you need protection from, and what are you planning for? And I think Jeannie and Jeezy together were able to answer that question for each other. What do we both need protection from? That's abandonment, abuse, loss in relationships, loneliness, lack of love. And once you find somebody who is your counterpart, who's willing to help you heal through that, because they also feel that lack of protection. They also feel that lack of love, that sense of abandonment. And so together, two people came together to heal the broken parts of each other, because they both understood how important it was to pour that level of love into building a solid union and a solid foundation. And when you are with somebody who is mission aligned to you at the core, value, right? Because I'm all about core values. So when you are with someone who is aligned to you at the core of you, you guys have the same core values. You guys don't want to be alone together. You both have the same trigger. Then you guys, when you're healed, when you reach the place of healing, which obviously they have, Jeannie has a very flourishing career and Jeezy seems to be doing quite well for himself as well. You guys can move toward the next level, the building. And so I'm super excited in seeing them build their family. I'm super excited that Jeannie found somebody who didn't make her feel less than, who didn't abuse that sacred part of her womanhood, who didn't force her to have children when she wasn't ready to have children. That's another thing. I mean, there's this whole race with the biological clock, especially as women. Like, we're all just trying to be like, I want to be a mother. I want to be a wife. I want to have a family. I want to have a future. I want to have a business. I want to have a career. Like, it's this ongoing race that I feel that we as women are always running, that we miss out on the opportunity to really get to know the core of ourselves and to really have a self-reflective, quiet period when you are in that state of being. And I can speak from my own experience. I had my first child when I was 25 years old. Did it grow me up? Absolutely. It made me go from being a child, being young, wild, and free, blowing money fast and doing whatever I wanted to do, to now being responsible for an entire other human being. And that sense of ownership and feeling like if your child does not thrive, if your child does not become, that is a reflection of your failure as a parent. At least that's how I felt about it. I felt like this is going to be a reflection back on me and my shortcomings if I am not able to adequately provide for my child in a way that's meaningful. And so it's a lot of pressure for you to take on as a young woman to be raising kids at a young age when you are not even sure of who you are. And so if I could go back and talk to my younger self, I still would want everything to happen as it happened, in terms of me having 3 strong boys, having a husband, being married, having a home, and having a life. But I would most certainly tell my younger self, girl, slow all the way down. Like you are moving way too fast. Like you don't even know who you are yet. You are still being. You're not even ready to mom yet. And so yeah, that's one piece of Jeannie's story that I'm happy about. Like she waited until like I did all that I needed to do. I saw what I needed to saw. I failed. I healed. I overcame. I pursued my career. I had it all. And now I'm ready to give all that I have to someone else from a very whole place, not a broken place. And so, and me, I didn't do that. I basically I was recovering from a lot of childhood trauma. And I met a man, thankfully and prayerfully, I met a man who absolutely loved me through it all. And we built something strong and solid together. And to God be the glory for that. But everybody doesn't have that story. Everybody doesn't have that story. When you take someone who's not ready to be perfect and be a mom, and then you put them in motherhood with somebody who isn't equipped to be a father, praise God, my husband was very, very family oriented and he was very ready. Like he was on that fatherhood tip. Like he was on it, everybody doesn't have that. And I got lucky. And so my message is always when I'm talking to younger clients is to just tell them like, you don't have to rush, run your own race because your race is yours. Your story is yours. Your power is yours. And when you decide to be responsible for the life of someone else, you are saying that you are no longer just responsible for you. You have an obligation to someone else's happiness. And I'm not talking about your partner. I'm talking about your kids. You have an obligation to their happiness, to their financial future, to their intelligence, to their education, to their wholeness. You have to, as a mom, not just show up for you every day. You could be sad. You could be having the worst day ever. But you know what? You got to suck it up in the shower. You got to suck those tears back inside and you got to show up. You got to show up with whatever brave face you can find. And that is what it means to be a mom. And if for those of us who are lucky to have a spouse who you can offset that to when you are having a very vulnerable, weak moment where you can't show up. When you can't show up as yourself, you are lucky to have a significant other that you could look to and be like, I can't today. I can't today. I would love to, but I can't. And to have somebody that you trust. And that's what I see in Jeannie's situation. I see that she finally found somebody to trust, that she could trust, that would be able to be strong when she's weak, when she's having a weak moment, when she can't be all that she can be. And I think that's something that a lot of women who struggle, I'm very achievement motivated. I think I probably talked about this in like prior YouTube videos. So I'm a very achievement motivated person. So I like to accomplish goals. I like to set goals, accomplish them. I'm like a very data driven person. So like I measure my wins by like facts and figures, not like perception, right? So like, am I being successful? Can I point to some data, some money, some figures? That's why I was in finance, right? What is the illustrative piece I could see to measure my success? And I do that even as a mom now. Like, as a mom, I'm like, am I being a good mom? How do I measure it? Okay, well, are my kids learning? Are my kids fulfilled? Are my kids gaining? Are they building friendships? Do they feel happy? Do they believe in themselves? Do they have high self-esteem? What do they say about themselves when I'm not in the room? Let's talk about that for a second. That's the real tea about motherhood. What do your kids say about themselves when you as a mom are not in the room? What do they say about you? What do they think of you? And sometimes kids might not be forthright in saying what they think about you because they don't want to hurt your feelings or they don't want to make you feel any kind of way. So sometimes kids will have that conversation, but they'll do it through art. They'll do it through insinuation. They'll do it through the videos that they watch, or they'll do it through slight conversations or innuendos that they'll put out there that you as a mom have that listening ear for to say, okay, what are you really saying in this moment? And so, that to me is how I try to measure my success as a mom. And I imagine for Jeannie to finally have somebody in her life that she can look to and put trust in. That's the thing, ladies. Find a partner that you can trust with even the broken parts of you. There was a quote once about love, and love, it was a quote that said something to the effect of love is trusting somebody to hurt you, but knowing that they won't, or something to that effect. And I believe that. Like, I believe that that's what love is. Love, when you love somebody, a lot of people think love is, oh, he banging, he fine as fuck, he sexy. Oh, he gonna make some cute kids with me, or oh, he got a lit car, or oh, look, he a boss, or this or that, or that. People measure love by these outside things that are fleeting. They are so fleeting. They're so fleeting. When really true love at the core, the kind of love that you can build on and build wealth out of, because that's what I'm talking about. When you can fail with somebody and y'all don't turn on each other, then you got real love. Because when you love is when you can trust somebody to hurt you and they won't. I'll tell you, I've been in some of the most vulnerable moments of my life, leaving a career that I loved for 10 plus years. I was extremely successful at my job. I was making a whole lot of money, and I was emotionally devastated. I couldn't do it any longer. I was just working. I had lost myself in like that world, that I started to lose sight of why I was even there to begin with. And so I started to say, well, do I hate my job? Do I not want to be in corporate? Like, am I losing myself? Am I being a good mom? All these things started getting pushed on my table. And so I had to take a step back, like, what do you really want? Do you really hate your job, or are you just exhausted and you need a break? Do you really not love what you did? Like, how can you get clear with yourself? And I think so many people, they're rushing to run, that they don't take a moment to say, you know what? If I take a break right now, if I take 6 months, 3 months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, a year, 2 years, whatever it is for you, if I take a break and walk away from what it is that I believe is no longer serving me, if I take a moment to walk away, what will I find on the other side? How can I get clear? Because you cannot heal in the place where you were hurt. And I faced a lot of hurt when I was in corporate America, some of which I would love to talk to you about, but that's for a book. But a lot of hurt. I was so hurt. Couldn't heal there. You got to walk away from where you were hurt. And so that's what Jeannie did. She walked away from where she was hurt. I don't know the specifics of what went on with her and her former husband, but I applauded her for having the courage to be divorced, to fail in the face of the public eye. So many people would rather stay and hold on to, cling to for dear life, a traumatic, traumatizing, abusive relationship. And I don't mean abuse like physically. I mean, even emotionally abusive relationship. Some people would rather hold on to that for dear life before they would honor themselves enough to walk away and let the world be what it will be. Because only you have to be accountable for your failure, no one else. You come in this world as one, you shall leave as one. You shall leave as one. And so I applauded her for being brave enough to, one, admit that she was not ready to have kids and that she could not give to a child what she didn't have to give, right? Like, I can't bring no kid into this world. I'm all broken. I don't trust my husband. I feel like, we're not safe. I feel like it's volatile. I feel like we don't even like each other for real. We just sticking together because it's convenient, or because we couples goals, or because we already put in this much time. That's another thing. So many people get so caught up in how much time you done put in. Oh, you just want to brag about the number. Oh, it's been 10 years. It's been 15 years. It's been 20 years. It's been 30. Yeah, but who cares about the time? Who cares about the time if you sad and if you broken? Does the time even matter? Because all you did, the time you owe is to yourself. That's the time that's missing. That's the real tea. You are dishonoring yourself by staying in a toxic situation that has long passed its expiration date. You are so busy trying to say you got some fruit that you don't even give a damn that the fruit is spoiled and rotten. You want to spoil a bunch? Add one piece of rotten fruit, and you'll spoil the bunch. Do better to yourself. Do better for yourself. And so I applauded her for having that courage to be like, you know what? It's been, I don't know how many years me and I know it was more than 10. I got to go. I can rebuild my life. I can start anew. I can forge forward with faith. Faith. You know how much faith it takes to forge forward in your late 30s, where the whole world is telling you you're past your prime. You're past your prime. Men don't want, that whole Kevin Samuels bullshit. You're past your prime. You got vintage vagina. Don't no man want no woman in this late old age. Oh my God, the clock, it's tickety tock. That's what happens. You get so caught up in that bullshit that you stop and forget to like, wait a second. I'm in control of my life. I am the creator, the narrator, and the dictator of how my life is going to go. I'm in control. I'm in the driver's seat. I was just talking to my husband about this yesterday. I was like, the only thing that really belongs to us as human beings is our dreams. That's it. He was like, no, your thoughts belong to you too. I'm like, not really. Because for some reason, I feel like my Echo and my TikTok algorithm, they could hear my thoughts. I'm like, how you know that I was just about thinking about that? I'm going through swiping and they could read my mind. What truly only belongs to you, in my opinion, is your dreams. That moment when you are asleep, you can create a vision for your life. You can live through that vision. You can wake up in the morning and be like, yo, that dream felt so real. I've woken up mornings, I've had tears in my eyes from a dream that I had. That's what's really yours. So you can dream up a life that you want for yourself and protect your dream. Don't tell people what it is that you want, because once you speak that out into the world, that innermost private thought, but until you have solidified it, until you have felt comfortable with it, until you have believed it to the core and the depths of you that nobody can shake you, you keep that dream private. It's yours. It belongs to you and you alone. And I tell my husband that all the time. Stop telling people what your plans are. Stop telling people what your dreams are, because everybody don't got the best intentions for what you dreamt of your life. They don't even know how to dream for themselves. How the hell are they going to dream for you? Hell with a naysayer. Nobody can tell you who you going to become. Who are you? Who are you? I'm in control of this over here. I'm in the driver's seat. And I applaud Jeannie for that, for being like, you know what? I'm going to stand 10 toes on whatever I said. I don't want kids because I ain't ready to have kids. That's a powerful woman. I know she got a lot of flack from a lot of people, but I never critiqued her for that. I was like, that is a woman who understands what she is capable of and what she can fall victim to. If you ain't ready to parent, don't become a parent. If you're not emotionally healed from your own shit, how dare you have the arrogance to pour your nonsense onto some children who didn't even ask to be here? And that's me talking to myself at 25 years old, feeling like a failure as a mom at 25. I had no business bringing life into this world at 25. To God be the glory, I had a husband, and to God be the glory, he was much stronger than me in that moment. But I was so selfish back then, so focused on my career. All that mattered to me was my career. I just wanted to make it. That's it. That's all. I was tunnel vision. And I still struggle with that to this day because I'm so achievement motivated. I'm very career driven. I have a hard time. This is why I left. This is why I left, because I felt like I couldn't have both. I couldn't be a mom and be a boss, right? At this very high performing level, because it requires so much of you. People don't understand that motherhood is so well-rounded and so complex and has so many parts, and it makes you such a strong person. But sometimes you could feel pressured to choose or pressure to sacrifice. So you got to get clear with yourself. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to go back. It ain't failure. Your life is a maze. It's the beginning and the end. You create all the details in the middle. So kudos to Jeannie Mai for finding her power, her purpose, her reason, her safety net in her. What she called him a king. I saw one of her Instagram posts. She said, that's my king right there. That's right. That's the level of power you need to speak into the person who you invite into your life. Somebody who you trust wholeheartedly to love you through your pain and to not abuse your weaknesses. That's not love. Someone who loves you would never abuse your trauma and abuse your vulnerabilities. Never, 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 never. That's not love. That's not love. That's the difference between love and trauma bonding. If you want truth be told, trauma bonds exploit your weaknesses, deplete you, abuse you, and leave you feeling less than you did before you walked in. Love pours into you. Love says, I know she can't handle that, so I'm going to take on that burden. Love says, I know you were hurt in this area. Let me heal you. And that goes both ways, man to woman and woman to man. Love says, I know that you are struggling with confidence. So let me tell you how beautiful you are every day and every night. And let me not only tell you, but God darn it, let me show you. Because love is a verb, it is an action. It is not a word, it's a verb. Well, a verb would be a word, but you know what I mean? It's not a adjective, right? Because adjective describes a noun, right? So love is not an adjective. It's not describing something. It's not saying, oh, I love you, you bad, you my boo, you my bae, oh my God, I love you, you the best, you so caring, you so wonderful, this, that, and the third, you're a good mom, you're a good this, you're a good that, you're a good businesswoman, blah, 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 blah. The nonsense, the bullshit. Love is a verb. It's in motion. It is an action. It is a practice. It is a behavior. You want to find out how somebody feel about you? Fuck what they said. Watch what they do. How do they talk about you when you are not in the room? That'll tell you everything you need to know. I have never, ever felt uncomfortable with the way that my husband would talk about me when I'm not in the room. Never. Never. He don't shape shift in different communities. He don't all of a sudden become like, no, he doesn't shape shift. He is who he is. I love my wife. My wife is the fucking shit. And it is what it is. And that's whether he talking to whoever, you know, it don't matter. And that's the same for me. My husband is my best friend. Nobody could shake who he is in my life. Nobody can move the place he has in my life. There's nothing nobody could say to me about my husband that would ever make me leave him or feel a way about him, because I know who he is. He knows who I am. And he took me, he healed me, and he helped me when I couldn't even be there to help myself. He showed me love in the most intimate way. And that is when you find your person. And that's what Jeannie found. And so when she got emotional talking about him, it really just made me feel like God bless her. I'm super happy for her, for finding that safety, that healthiness, that love that I think it's forever, you know? Because a man loves to protect. That's the core of a man. Protect and provide. And sometimes they provide money. Sometimes they provide comfort. Sometimes they provide joy. But you know what they provide ultimately? Ultimately, a man's job is to provide where a woman cannot provide for herself. And a woman's job is to provide for a man where he cannot provide for himself. Empires are not built by one person. There may be one king, but the whole empire is ran like a system. There's a king, there's a queen, there's knights, there's clergymen, there's peasants. It's a system. There's a system to this. So yeah, there may be one king, but it's not one. The empire wasn't built by one person. You can't build an empire with people who don't want to play to win. We all got to have the same goal. Hence the word relationship, ship, direction. Where are we going? Where are we navigating to? And so congratulations to Jeannie Mai. That's my motivational chat for today. She found her why. She bossed up. She found her love. And if you have been struggling or believing that there's a life that ain't no better life out there for you, Exhibit A. Put out of her house at 15, 16 years old. I believe she was sexually assaulted, from what I recall her saying on the show. Taken advantage of by friends, used recreational drugs at one point or another, struggled with eating disorder. What else? Failed marriage, traumatized publicly because she didn't want kids. I mean, can we say more or say less? No matter what your story was before you got to that point, your story is still being written. The rest is still unwritten. In the words of my homegirl, Natasha Bedingfield, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. The rest is still unwritten. Your book is in motion. Keep writing it. Congratulations again to Jeannie Mai and Jeezy. That's my motivational chat for today. Thank you guys for stopping by. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.